Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Friday night trending topics. And I really only put one topic on the docket. Listen, guys, let's do some ground rules up front. Here's some ground rules, right, everybody? We're not going to attack the individual. We're going to attack the conversation, okay? So we're not going to call people names. We're going to have a nice, calm conversation. And we're going to break this down in a logical way. And I know when it comes to these things, we have our favorites. We have our people that we love, right? And, we like to, hit the gavel on the people that we love. But this is a deeper conversation that we are having. Thank you, Leah. She said, what is the topic? The topic is that now many more reality stars are suing Bravo and NBC. Okay. So Nene sued them a while ago. She's still in litigations with them, and she accused them of racism, among other things. Well, now this group of individuals are accusing Bravo of a lot of things. So they're waging a war. It's about to go down. They're saying that, Bethany Frankel is the leader of the pack, and it's about to go down. So we're going to have a conversation, okay? Hello, Diva and panel. I missed the train, but I'm here with my ticket. Thank you, everybody. Listen, grab your ticket. Grab your ticket. Hold on to your seat, because we're going to have a conversation, an adult conversation, and we got a show for you tonight with trending topics, okay? So the reality stars have waged a war on NBC, Bravo, and they're alleging a lot of things. We're going to have this conversation. We're all going to talk. We're going to get together, and it all is going to be well. Hit that like button, because that's your ticket on this train. Now, the platform is full. I told y'all before, the platform gets locked out at 10. We are 10 deep. I'm included in that number. The platform is full. Hit the like button, people. Give me a choo-choo, because I'm about to board this train. Are y'all ready? Can I get a what? Choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. We're about to board this train for Friday night trending topics. And remember what I always say over here. Catch the train. Do not catch feelings. All right? Here we go. So, Ace, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Diva and Panel, for making all of our weeks go so much better. Maybe just me, LOL. Well, Ace, thank you. And thank you for being here. Okay, Robin, litigation, whatever. She still didn't solve her issues with Bravo. All right, guys, I'm about to board this train. Are y'all ready? Hey, we're here.
It's Friday. Hey,
You look like you trying to run the streets, honey. You looking all good.
don't be telling the people my business.
Your boy, you look like he going to Mexico to get him into some fun.
Ooh. Okay, he said,
Why boy, you do his lips like that? I see you playing.
Come on now. Boarding the train. Listen, people, our boarders are here. Okay, our train riders are here. They got their ticket. Now, listen, guys, we'll backtrack a little bit. We all know that a while ago, Nene Leakes sued Bravo. She sued Bravo, saying they was racist, Andy was racist, and she accused them of all kinds of things. She also said that they were blackballing her, that they blackballed her because she was running her mouth, and she sued. Well, now we got a new suit here by some other Bravo levities, okay? And they're claiming some similar things. Now, let me read and get through this first. Let me get through it, people, before we start the talking. So NBC and Bravo reality show stars, led by Bethany Frankel, accused network of covering up sexual violence, condoning revenge porn, exploiting minors, and denying mental health treatment in bombshell legal letter, okay? So NBC and Bravo reality show stars have accused the networks of covering up sexual violence, condoning revenge porn, exploiting minors, and denying mental health treatment in a bombshell letter obtained by Daily Mail. Sources tell DailyMail.com reality star Bethany Frankel has led the charge against the network weeks after she slammed executives for exploiting young, doe-eyed talent who are desperate to be on TV. Bravo has been contacted for comment about the allegations. In a statement, NBC said it was committed to maintaining a safe and respectful workplace for cast and crew on reality shows. Okay. At the outset, we require our third-party production partners to have appropriate workplace policies and training in place. A spokesperson for NBC Universal said in a statement to DailyMail.com, if complaints are brought to our attention, we work with our production partners to ensure that timely, appropriate action is or has been taken, including investigation, medical, and/or psychological support, and other remedial action that may be warranted, such as personal changes. The explosive letter directed at Bravo Media, E! and CNBC, which are collectively controlled by NBC Universal, claims the network widely consumed reality TV universe is the reason stars' alleged suffering remained under wraps for far too long. The day of reckoning has arrived, the letter began, as it is accused the network chiefs of deliberately damaging the mental health of cast members by plying them with alcohol and depriving them of food and sleep. When stars complained, they were allegedly denied mental health treatment despite showing signs they were struggling, the letter said. Let's remember Katie from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's remember Kim Richards from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay, so this is not shocking to me. If we go down the Rolodex, we can name all these people that you could tell should never have been on TV, but they were on TV because they wanted the ratings. Okay. So now the networks are also accused of exploiting minors by not paying them despite long-term appearances on the show. Okay. So sources told Daily Mail. Okay, let me just throw a little point into that right there too, right? So here's the thing. Are they wrong? Yeah, they wrong, right? But did you try to negotiate? Did you speak up? Let's continue. I'm just throwing that out there. Sources told DailyMail.com there have been over 100 emails from talent, producers, and various showrunners about the issues detailed in the letter. Showrunners were also accused of distributing or condoning the distribution of non-consensual pornography or so-called revenge porn and covering up sexual violence. Am I shocked? No. I think she was also from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They was trying to bring her back on. Her name is slipping my mind right now. And then they let her go because she was accused of trying to touch the poom poom of one of the other cast members, and she got mad. Okay, so that kind of got kiboshed a little bit there. So am I shocked about these things? Not at all. Am I shocked about, the accusations of sex being rampant? No, because we had the two news anchors that were both married at the time that was fooling around with each other. And they also said that he was sleeping with other people in the office. So they're sleeping around over there allegedly at NBC, whether it's a reality show or not shocking at all whatsoever. We can go down the list if we Google and see how many of those anchors have been accused of SA. Okay. At the end of their alleged ordeal, stars were also not allowed to leave their shows even under dire circumstances. The accusations come months after former NBC Universal CEO Jeff Shell was fired following an investigation into sexual harassment, which was sparked when a female employee made a complaint against him. Acting CEO Michael took the helm for Shell, and Shell was sacked in April. Okay, that's the long thing. It's a lot of allegations on there. And again, I'll say this: I don't think any of us are in denial or don't agree that these things probably most likely happen. The written letter by attorneys for the stars said that disturbing behavior has been witnessed on many occasions. It is claimed that NBC Universal has exceeded the moral and legal limits permissible in a civilized society, adding that it has allegedly opened itself up to lawsuits due to intentional infliction of emotional distress, distribution of revenge porn, and false imprisonment. Sound familiar? Lizzo stuff. You know what's interesting? I'm going to intertwine these two cases together because it's so much similarities. With the Lizzo stuff, everybody's saying, oh my God, no way Lizzo could have did this. These people want a money grab. But here, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe NBC would do this. We're going to talk, okay? I just want to throw some stuff out there as I'm going through this. The claims over forcing the reality stars to remain on shows despite their struggling mental health comes at the Vanderpump Rules. Remember that whole Raquel situation, the cheater scandal. And Raquel had to enter herself into a facility in order to deal with all the backlash that was coming at her as a result of what happened on the TV. At the same time, the company was rocked by Shell scandal. Raquel representatives were reportedly talking to Bravo about her role on the network, insisting that her mental health must be at the forefront of any possible return to the hit show. Bethany Frankel's role comes weeks after she blasted the network bosses for exploiting reality stars. Reality stars are the stepchildren, the losers, the muse, the pack horses, the ones that the entertainment industry is going to rely on right now to carry the water and do the heavy lifting. And real stars, real A-list Hollywood is on strike, she said, noting that, you know what, this recent SAG strikes, okay? All right, that was a mouthful. All right, so here we go. We're going to start out with that. I'm going to interject some more details and information as we go along and speak. But I want to say this, nobody seems to care until the tragedy knocks on their door. Nobody seems to care until it hits their pocket. Bethany knew about this for years. But when they was all getting their $1 million checks, everybody was able to kind of deal with the things that was going on. When the check shut down, all of a sudden they woke up. Why aren't we getting what do you call the checks that you get when your shows
residual?
Are these shows syndicated? There's a whole lot more that has to go into it. But my point that I want to start off with is it seems like nobody cares until it hits their front door. They see it, they put blinders onto it, they ignore it, and then when it slaps them in the face, they're like, oh my God, this is wrong. I'm going to start with you, Royer. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to stand on what I've been saying because this is what I truly believe. At what point do we accept, the responsibility for the choices and the decisions that we chose? We chose to sign this contract. We chose to go along with the things that they were asking us to do, even though we knew it was wrong, even though it made us feel uncomfortable, even though it wasn't, what we wanted to do, but they made us. I stand on the fact of we have to get to a place where we got to accept the consequences for the choices that we make. As you were stating, Bethany knew about this when these things were going on. Nene knew about the things that was going on at Bravo when it was going on, but it wasn't a problem. Well, let me speak for me. I didn't notice it was a problem for Nene until Nene's episodes started getting cut, until they started cutting her out of scenes and things like that. Then it was a problem when they started messing with her money. But as long as your money in there, and as long as you getting the glory, and this is just not towards Nene, but towards this situation, as long as you're getting the glory and getting what you want, and it's benefiting you, it's okay what's going on the set or at the job or in the family. That's not okay. The people have to accept responsibility for the choices that they made. Now, if there were, these allegations with the sexual things like that, if, there were personal, things that happen to individuals and they can name out and point these individuals out, charges need to be filed. Because we just don't want to be out here getting a money grab. We want to get these people off the streets who are doing these inappropriate things in the workplace. These are crimes. That's a crime to SA people in the workplace. excuse me. That is a complete crime. And they don't need to be in the workplace in order to do that. So, It's nice that everybody is standing up now, but what about before? What about back then? Look how many people's lives have been damaged because of your silence as well.
Oh, oh.
That's just how I feel about it.
I appreciate your input. Let me just read what Emmanuel says here. I get that, Diva, but we need to realize that not everyone is the type to speak out in the moment. Not everyone is that person. No, I get it, but usually the people that don't speak up, just like there allegedly are more people with the Lizzo situation, but they're still not speaking up. Usually people that don't have the courage to speak up, they probably 9 times out of 10 just remain that way. There was a lot of more Harvey Weinstein victims that we wanted to remain anonymous. So my thing here is the majority of the people that are speaking up now are the people that are no longer getting that check. I'm just saying. So I do get that there's people that, just don't have the courage to speak up for whatever given reason. They also allege, I'll throw this as I go on to E. They also allege that, the alcohol, they were serving it up. And yeah, they were serving it up. Do I believe? I believe 99.9% of stuff. Yes, they were serving it up. But
that don't mean you got to drink it.
Drink it. E, you're up.
So I have 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And the first point is, of course, they're going to serve you alcohol, especially for those, if it's their first rodeo, if it's their first season, because anybody who's been filmed before, most times it takes us a moment to get out of the habit of looking at the camera and being self-conscious that the camera is there. And Candy has said this numerous of times, that we get the best moments from her when they catch her off guard, because then she forgets, and that's when she acts a donkey. So I can believe that they serve up camera, but also, to use Candy as an example, Candy doesn't drink and Candy doesn't smoke. So while everyone is getting drunk and i.e. Portia, and acting a skunk and a whore, you Drew, you're included, and you don't remember kissing girls. Put down the cup. Kim Zolciak, put down the red cup. Pay attention. You're still at work. Okay, we had this same debate when it came to Love and Marriage DC with and I really liked them as a couple after your interview, Diva. It was the Tyler. And we spoke about the guys drinking, and he did that to loosen up. I mean, being on camera is stressful, so I get it. But like Royer said, you bear some responsibility in that also. Same thing with the powdered donuts that they pass around. We have to take accountability for what we put in our own bodies. But on the flip side, I do have to come to some of these ladies' defense. I agree with Royer that, and you, Diva, the people who are speaking up now are the people who behave the absolute worst. But I do think, I believe Nene, and I know people are going to call me a hypocrite. I'll take that. I believe Nene when she says, I tried to handle this behind the scenes, and I have text messages. I believe that she texted them. I do believe that she tried to make talk of it behind the scenes before going publicly, because ultimately they didn't want to ruffle too big of feathers that would impact their check. So I can understand someone playing the balancing act of wanting to complain but not really expose them too bad, because ultimately they're trying to keep their job. So I can see both sides of that. But Bravo has been protecting people who SA people for a long time. Why are we getting Phaedra back on Married to Medicine? She was a part of that whole scheme of accusing Candy, Portia too. And so I know it's different in regards to what that man was doing to those women, but Bravo has been covering up criminal activity for the sake of viewership for a while. And so they do need to be fired over there. They need to clean house and start over. Andy Cohen included. NBC Universal, you don't get off the hook. But now that we all know this, I want to know who's going to turn off NBC Universal and Bravo. Who's going to quit watching? We know the viewership is down for the Housewives, but who's going to really shut this off completely? Because it's one thing to say, we want to stand with our favorites. they have a point and we don't want to stand for this injustice. It's another thing to hit them where it hurts with those advertising dollars. Cut the damn TV off and stop watching it.
So you make a lot of points here. Here's the thing we do know, right? When this thing gets shuffled, trust me, a lot of people are going to go down, right? Because yes, we do know this too, because many of the ladies have said it. They have said that, production will tell, Roy or something like Diva did XYZ. So now Roy is pissed. And now we go to the luncheon and Roy is like, yo, Diva, you said XYZ? And I'm like, what you talking about? Who said that? And so now everything's going to pop off. And it's going to pop off extra because, the cameras are rolling and nobody's going to get punked in front of the camera. So let's be clear. When this thing goes down, it's not like just certain heads and certain groups are going to get cut down. It's going to be everybody. So eventually they're going to say every little producer is going to go down in this thing too. Because you think Andy is the one whispering in Roy's ear, putting a battery in his back? No. So what does that mean at the end of the day? Carlos King. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean at the end of the day? Every little production person, because they said they're all signed up a person. That's what Nene and Carlos said in her interview. They're all assigned a person. All of those people played a role in these situations. So all I'm saying is, I know everybody's looking at the surface of it. Yeah, let's get NBC, let's get Bravo. All the little people heads are going to roll before they get to the top. They're going to blame all of those little people before they get to the top. Andy didn't tell you, that producer told you. And then when you in a court of law, how do you connect to make sure it goes all the way back that if you want to take him down? He wasn't there in Beverly Hills, Atlanta, Potomac when that alcohol was being served at that thing. And at the end of the day, they could serve alcohol, they could serve chicken, they could serve biscuits. You ain't had to touch none of it.
But Andy was there at that reunion when it came to colorism, and he did cover that up. Whoa. And everybody backtracked.
Let me throw this in there, E. They asked them ladies, and them ladies themselves sat there and said, there is no colorism going on. It came out of Candace's mouth. It came out of Wendy's mouth. At some point, you have to say no. You can't keep saying everything was dumb and none of it is me. They had the opportunity to address colorism because they knew the public was pissed about it. And so when the girls that was really impacted, we not impacted, they right in it. When they was impacted, they sat there with their fellow cast members and said, nobody here is colorist. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what they said.
They did, but they could have been intimidated by their boss asking them that question. That's why somebody else should have came in and had that conversation.
But they also asked them, did they want an outside expert? And they said, no, they'll handle it themselves. So
not everybody said no.
Well, it doesn't matter though. The collective group agreed on it. And if you didn't want, at some point though, when you want to go buck up against the system, and listen, I'm not saying you shouldn't. At some point though, they're going to say, okay, all the responsibility is on them. They tried, they offered you. What did you say? Did you tell them you didn't want the alcohol? Did you stop drinking the alcohol? You're going to have a piece of responsibility in the situation. It's not going to all fall on everybody else's back. So all I'm saying is to add to the conversation is they're going to cut down every little person first before they rise all the way to the top. And I just think in general that reality shows are going to tank and Zeus is going to tank because they're built off of violence and nonsense and everything else. Jocelyn Hernandez is a prime example. A Blueface is another prime example. But listen, they fall on basketball wise. And I know we're cutting down Bravo in this conversation, on this conversation about Bravo and NBC. But let me be clear. Carlos King don't pay his people. Mona Scott don't pay her people. They black. So if we're going to fix a situation, we can't just blame one, because it seems like when we get opportunity, the power to help our people, we do like they do. They don't pay them, we ain't paying them either. I'm just throwing that out there for conversation. Leo, jump into the conversation.
Oh, Leo, I don't.
I pretty much agree.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Hold on, Leo. Go ahead. Who wanted? Who was trying to talk?
It's me. But before you start, Leo, Diva, I want you to know that not only is it the cast members, but there's also staff in that lawsuit that's going against NBC and Bravo.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's some staff members too that's a part of the lawsuit.
I said I'm not shocked, right? Because even with the what is his name, TJ Holmes, and that chick that got fired from the news desk at NBC, there was staff that made complaints. There was staff that knew that was going on. So none of this is shocking to me. So I don't care if the cleaning lady is part of the lawsuit. I'm not disagreeing that this is going on. I'm just saying that there's some other things that need to be talked about, because we're going to talk about it in general too, to say that fairness doesn't happen all across the board. The people from OWN said that the reason why Carlos splits up those seasons, so they can't renegotiate their contract, but they're working 2 seasons, but they're always going to work off the season 1 contract because he's splitting it into 2. Even though it's 2 seasons, he's shown it as 1 season, but really it's 2 seasons. But he's doing that so you can't renegotiate your contract and get more money. So I'm saying, even when we have the opportunity to pay our people, we don't pay our people either. So all of it is dead wrong. But go ahead, Leo. Give me 1 second. Let me jump in. Let me do.
Excuse me.
Chat. Ashley Kelly, thank you for the super chat. Hopefully Kim Zolciak doesn't find her way into the suit. She would just gamble it away. Thank you for the laughter in the midst of this conversation, and thank you for the super chat. Leo, you're up.
Okay, so I do agree that it's both sides. I do see it as reality TV has missed it's missed its mark. It's no longer in its heyday, right? Mm-hmm. And so I also feel like not only are they going to be going after Bravo, they get ready to go after Paramount Plus with the VH1 and the what is it? They fight all the time. The Love and Hip Hops and all of that. All of them are getting ready to start making their voices heard. And just because people allow themselves to get caught in these situations, yeah, they drink the drinks. Yeah, they act the fool. Yeah, they unstable and shouldn't be on TV. Y'all remember Katie Royce? Is that her name? That was on Potomac. Mm-hmm. You could tell she was unstable, and they still kept filming her. But at a point, when she got all the way in her addiction problems, they no longer filmed her. Mm-hmm. And I can appreciate that. Brandy Glanville off of Beverly Hills, she's always been a straight fool. She get drunk and act all the way out. And she was the one that was grabbing the pom pom, and they had to put her off the set and put her on a plane and get her off of there. I don't think that the bad behavior is just about the person themselves. I think it's about the production. Truly Original is get ready to lose their bag too. Because just like Dee was saying, it's every person get a production person, a producer with them that's assigned to them. Truly Original keep going to that same old whack formula. I was getting ready to cuss that whack formula that's always stir up the drama, get the arguments going, and we are all bored with that. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why the ratings are going down. So one thing is happening. People are coming together and saying, hey, we're getting abused. It's a hostile work environment. There's SA going on. They film it. There's stuff that they, the porn. That's one thing. The ratings are going down. That's another thing. So you're absolutely right. The president of NBC ain't gonna lose his $20 million bonus that he get every year. Andy ain't gonna lose his money. The only thing they're gonna get rid of is production. Mm-hmm. That's what they're gonna get rid of. Mm-hmm. All the grips, all the lighting people, all of those people, those producers, all of those people, they are the ones that's get ready to lose their jobs, not the people up top. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame people. I don't think it's either here or there. I don't blame people
who keep their mouth shut and keep their job. Y'all, people got to do what they got to do. People have to do what they have to do. If they decide to complain after they no longer have the job, well, we know what it is. They kept their mouth shut to keep their check. And then after they was no longer able to get their check, they started running their mouth. It is what it is. It doesn't mean that those unsavory behaviors did not happen. It doesn't mean that. And I think that production companies and the studios need to answer for that bad behavior that they have got going on for 20 years now, and nobody ain't never really said nothing, but it was undertones that all of this stuff was going on. I believe that it is time for people to say something. I don't care who it is. I don't care how it happened. I don't care if it was a person that was working there and they was getting them fat checks and they ain't getting them no more. I don't care. Stuff should happen. Things should change. It should be, they should get residuals. It should be more things in their contract. And I would appreciate if people, when they get on reality TV, right, actually learn what they're signing up for. So if you're going to be filmed getting drunk, acting a fool, sign for something else. Make sure your baby get a check. If your children ain't getting no check and they on the TV, that's your fault. They ain't signed no paperwork. Ain't nobody asked them.
Can I tell you, I saw the contract, Leo, and clearly states in the contract they can cut and chop up and use your name and your likeness and all that any way they feel and please. That contract is so dirty. But listen, it's no different than the music artists who sign contracts.
That's what I thought of too. That's what it sounds like, a 360 contract.
Yeah. So there's a lot of conversation to have in this. So Special K said a lot of people are afraid of retaliation because of the way they handle Nene. But see, the thing is, this type of stuff didn't start with Nene. That's why, look it up. There's a law or something called the whistleblower, right? Meaning that, you know, they enacted that because of situations as such. Not saying that it, you know, means anything, and it still doesn't happen as a result of it. But the Whistleblower Act was pretty much because, you know, for people not to be retaliated against when they brought up, you know, things that were happening in the employment and when they was working. So I understand that all of this is real. The best example I can give, and this is a true story, he was from New York. And honey, I was trying to go out there and praise that man because to God be the glory. Amazon, they say, is a sweatshop. Amazon is a sweatshop. So they say, you know, we imagine you can order something, you literally press the button. In some cases, you getting it the next day. Those people are in there. They can't take breaks, allegedly. They don't like them leaning like against something. They're standing up, they're picking and packing those products, and they barely can take a 10-15 minute break. There's a black guy,
to go to the bathroom.
Got that part. Come on, to tell the truth, Wayne. That's a fact. I know plenty of people that work there, but I followed the black guy in New York, and I'm just giving you this description to tell you how they tried to underestimate him and play them out. So there's a black guy from New York. His name is not coming to my mind right now. He has some gold.
But I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay,
I know what you're talking about.
In his mouth, and he the system, and he started a union while he was working. My thing is, you can't make change if you're going to be afraid to make the change because you're going to say that I just got to keep my check. So what you going to do? This man bucked the system while he was working. He said, "This ain't right. We got to ask to go to the bathroom. I got to pee. I should have a break. These people are passing out in here. They're working like dogs, and I want to start a union." Okay, they fired him. He still was working on that union, and I'm paraphrasing this thing really quickly. Everybody that was out there striking with him, he made sure those people got fed every day. Even Jeff Bezos did not want that union. Well, to God be the glory. There's a union out there now at that Amazon that he was working at. All of them people got done right afterwards. They praised him. They loved him. And listen, even restaurants was coming with him and bringing food to feed those people. And there was people donating money so these people could get paid while they was out there helping the system. This man did this and started this by himself. So I'm just saying that if you're in there and you want to say, I can't, and you keep accepting the check, well, you're going to have to accept the behavior that comes with it. You know what? Listen, our ancestors didn't go through all that they went through so that we can come up now and say, I can't. So at some point, you're going to have to decide what struggle you picking. Am I going to sit the struggle and go ahead and watch all this go down because I'm getting my check right now? Or am I going to buck the system and tell the people right here, right now, that everything that's going on is dead wrong and not right? You got to make a decision, but every decision you make is going to have a consequence and you're going to have to live in it. So here's the thing too. Let me just address this really quickly too, and then I'm coming to you, Nikki. No, Candy asked for her show. She didn't ask for things for anybody else. So I understand, and I know y'all think over here that I'm a Candy lover, and I'm going to try to keep it calm today. But let me just say this. Did Cynthia go ask for anything? Did Kenya ask for anything? Why do we put everything on one person's back? So everybody like to say Candy didn't, Candy didn't, Candy didn't, Candy didn't. Well, there's a whole cast of black girls on there. What did they do? What did they do? How do we put it on one person back? Candy didn't. Did Cynthia? Did Kenya? Did Portia? Did Drew? Did anybody else that came on there? What did they do to help anybody else? What are they currently doing to help anybody else? And let me say this. As much as, and I don't want to go versus this Candy versus Nene, whatever thing. We can wash this under the rug all we want, but every time they asked Nene a question about who should go, she offered up a name. It was one of her black sisters' name. I'm just saying.
Well, when even aside of that, Diva.
Wait, hold on. But let me just add this. When they asked her who should return, she said Kim Zolciak, the one that she named in the lawsuit, the one that she named as part of the problem of the racism. So all I'm saying is, if every time they put the mic in my face and I want to say is racism, is this, is that going on, and I say, fire E, fire Leo, fire Nikki, fire in my opinion. And then the one I'm claiming that's contributed to the racism and getting away with everything, which was Kim Zolciak, I'm saying, but you know what? They say, who should we bring back? Kim, she makes good TV. I'm just throwing that in there for the conversation.
But I got one more thing to say though, Diva. One more. Yes. Okay, so I was in a union, right? I was in a union for years, a glass union, and at that time, I was very single, and we was negotiating contracts. And you would not believe how many people, when you try to get their opinion, other workers, what they think. I was the financial secretary. I was an officer. You try to get our people's opinion on what you want, how you want, silence. When I tell you, silence.
I get it.
Nobody was willing to put their back on the line. Right. And I was single at the time with no kids, so I could run my mouth like that, because y'all can tell I'm a mouth runner. So I could run my mouth like that. But people would not do that. And I just had to get down to the point of people need their check. They got kids, they got mortgage, they got car payments, and they're not even willing to put their voice on the line. And I had to learn that the hard way. And that really hurt me. So I get it.
No, I get it. I get it. Go ahead, Roy, and then I need to get to Nikki.
Yeah, I'm about to go after this. Yeah. My only thing, and this is not personal towards Nene people, so don't take it personal, people, okay? My thing was, it was so funny to me that, Nene was able to file this lawsuit and talk about the abuse, the things that were done. But then you sat up on Carlos King's show and was the clown for his circus. You negatively talked about everybody. Nobody was a star. Everybody was starless. Nobody brought anything to the show. You gave your little props to Claudia, and see, that's why I wanted to mention it earlier, because you were talking about past stuff, Diva, the past things about her firing people and stuff. You still negatively talking about people, but then you're going to file a lawsuit for discrimination and, racism and all this other stuff. But look how you treat people. That's going to be an effect, in the, people are going to look at that. It's just, I just dislike the fact that she got on Carlos King's show and was the clown for his circus. But when she asked him questions, he ran all the way around everybody's mulberry bush, except for the one mulberry bush that she asked the question about. But this is your brother. This is who you support. This is who you got your back. He made her look like a complete idiot. And it was definitely entertaining. Entertaining at its best, yes. But, I don't see, and not trying to compare, but I don't see Bethany Frankel running around, clowning the other ladies currently today, still to this day. Like, come on. You're fighting a battle that you want everybody to have justice, but you can't even speak well of the very people that you used to work with, that all of this stuff was going. Don't you want them to have justice, even though you're still gone now and they're not bringing you back? Don't you still want to see the justice come to pass? I can't. It's not sitting well with me.
But let's not forget, she did say that she gave Claudia she put her input on giving Claudia a position that she wasn't even up for. They was going to give it to the other lady on the show, and Carlos did confirm that, and then Claudia also confirmed that.
So we do nice things for people to get nice things done back to us, or do we
No, but
genuinely do things for the betterment? Because it was
don't
like, well,
fight it, Don. They gonna hate on me.
Like,
but we mentioned the bad that she said in that
because
clip,
the
but we
interview
left
was full
out.
of negativity. It was full
But
of
it wasn't.
negativity.
She gave that woman a promotion
How she give up
She
promotion?
wrote the check.
because she was supposed to be a friend of the show. She
Yeah,
wasn't supposed to be a
but
peace
Claudia,
holder.
and even Claudia admitted because she was so in her feelings, that's the reason why she didn't go back as a friend of. When they interviewed Candace, Candace even told her, "You should have got out of your feelings, girl. You should have came back." But Claudia admitted that's the only reason why she didn't go back to Housewives. Go back and watch TGIF, and she will say,
but so what? Nene didn't go. Nene didn't sign her contract because she was demoted down to 6 shows. I'm not. The thing is, those things.
okay.
Those things, I'm really not debating. She said that about Claudia, but at the same time, she said they shouldn't have gave it to Portia. All I'm saying, my point is, I guess that it's a flower and then a dig.
You can't be seeking for something that you're not willing to give yourself. You want these people to give grace and mercy to you, but you're not giving grace and mercy to none of these people that you're working along, that you used to work alongside.
That's true, Royer. That's true. You can't ask something from somebody else that you're not willing to give. Now that's true.
That's facts. That's facts. And that's the point I'm making. It's like I'm gonna stab them, but I want NBC Universal, Bravo, Andy, Trudy, this, that, and the other to do
give
right
me my flower.
Right. Ashley, thank you for the super chat. Nene is only out for herself. She doesn't care about anyone except self, money and fame. I only normally watch NBC and Bravo. LOL. Ashley, thank you so much for the super chat and your comment. Nikki, your thoughts.
Oh Jesus, this is a whole lot. Jesus Christ, and I'm long-winded like Miss E. So I have a few things I want to say. I do think the first thing I want to say is it's problematic that I feel like oftentimes we need to point out what each of the victims could have done or should have done, rather than focusing on what the perpetrators are accused of. I think a lot of times people would prefer to just poke at the victims and tear them down, rather than focusing on who's being accused of something. Why are we so focused on the victim and what these people should have, could have done? Mm-hmm. The second thing is, I know you guys were talking about unions, and this happened before my time and even before my husband's time. Mm-hmm. But I just want to share it to give it perspective. My husband's grandmother, they had like 11 kids or something like that. Mm-hmm. And when my mother-in-law was a kid, her mom didn't work. Her dad was the only person that worked, and he worked as a machinist in some company. And they were striking. And in the South, I believe it was in Mississippi, but I could be wrong about that. And because he has 11 kids and a pregnant wife, I got to go to work. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. My pregnant wife, I got to go to work. And they threw him in the machine, and he's no longer here. So I could totally understand how people can make a decision to say, people need to stand up. People need to say something. I understand that wholeheartedly. My husband lost his grandfather because of that. My mother-in-law lost her father because of it. because of him doing what he felt like he needed to do, which was take care of his family. He didn't feel like he had another option. So when people say, you know, you have a choice, I think it's nuanced to say that to somebody, that you have a choice, because really, what was his choice? In his mind, his choice was, I got to feed my family, so I got to go in here and I got to get to the work. I know it's sad, and so I'm going to move on from that, but I just think sometimes you just got to have a little bit of perspective. It's not only what's happening right here, right now in your situation is the reason why people are making these quote unquote choices. Sometimes it's something beyond that. But I also do think that, you know, if you're going to, on some level, continue to put up with something, so to speak, if you have the option, and not everybody has the option, which is why I gave that scenario, you have to, sometimes you can get out, you have to make some different choices, and sometimes the choices are very limited, the choices are very difficult, the choices, you know, you might not want to make, but sometimes you have to do that. And I think that's what most people are kind of getting at when they're saying you have a choice, you have a choice. It's like, maybe this isn't the best case scenario, but this is the choices you have. Regarding what people were saying, or some people were saying about why one person won't speak up, I do think that there's strength in numbers, right? So if I'm a victim, or my mom was a victim, or my aunt was a victim, or whoever these people are in the world that told me about it, told me their sad story, now I might not necessarily want to say anything, because if I do say something, we know again how victims get treated. So I might not want to say something right now because I'm not strong enough. Maybe I don't feel, whatever it is, I don't have the words, and so I don't have the courage to do it then. But if someone else comes and stands with me to die on this cross, so to speak, maybe I feel a little bit stronger because somebody else is holding up the cross with me. If it's 40 people holding the cross with me, it's certainly a lot lighter than it was when it was just me or the first two of us. The last thing I really want to kind of just point out is, I know we were talking about situations where an employer, or an employee rather, is saying something, so you're agreeing to something. So we're saying, well, all these housewives have agreed to this, and then later people like Bethany and Nene, now when they're no longer in the line of fire, so to speak, now they speak up, and this, that, and the third. And I also just wanted to bring this up because I forget who said it, but it was something about, you know, you're waiting till you're out of the line of fire to say something, and then also about why victims don't necessarily say anything. I know most of us on this panel probably watched Potomac and the whole Juan Dixon situation that is not on the show, but is somewhat on the show because of who he is and who his wife is on the show, and that whole scenario. And the limited information that I have was that this young man went to this school and was manipulated, whatever you want to call it, because the person that was in power, my understanding is one of the coaches or somebody that worked for Juan Dixon, was basically manipulating him, and then he was basically doing that to, and the young man was sending these photos or whatever it is he was doing to basically continue to be on this team that he wanted to be on. And so once the man got whatever information, photos, videos, whatever it was, then it was like, send me more. So now that person kind of feels caught in the middle. So it's sort of like those people who do inappropriate things with their boss, let's say, and then now they don't want to do those things anymore for whatever the reason is. Now they don't want to do it, but now that person has compromising photos or whatever else, and then that person is like persecuted, because then they want to go say, well, I feel like I don't want to lose my job, or I want to report this behavior now that I'm no longer involved in it. People will say, well, you were at first, you were initially involved in it, so why should we believe maybe now you just don't like him because, you know, you can't have what you want out of him, or whatever the case may be. All those things could be true, but it also could be true that, yeah, he had me in a compromising situation. I liked it at the time, but now I don't. And now I still have to work for this man, and I don't want to, or I don't want to have to participate in this behavior anymore. And I think both things could be true. That person should not have been making those terrible decisions by, you know, having an inappropriate relationship with their boss. And she also, or he also, should be able to say, I don't want to do this anymore, and have the right to be able to not do that anymore without being attacked. So that's all I really wanted to say.
Thank you. Juanita, thank you for the super chat. My mother taught us, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Thank you for that message, Juanita. I'm connecting with you. My screen flipped a little bit, so nobody flip out. I'm gonna go back up so I can stay organized here. Felicia, any thoughts?
Hey, good evening, everybody. You know, this is such an interesting conversation. I'm asking permission to kind of take it in a little bit of a different direction. Still staying on topic, but I'd always like to come from the lawyer's end. Mm-hmm. So I did some research on the attorneys, the law firms that have filed this letter of complaint. So there is a difference between a letter and an actual complaint. Usually that is something a firm will do, putting the defendant on notice that you're not going to know exactly what we're going to make claim on or who's making that claim, but we're telling you don't destroy any files, don't delete any emails, don't have something happen to your phone, don't have a fire in your film room or something like that. You're to protect all of the documentation that we're going to be seeking going forward. So I also did some research on this Brian Friedman, and he is somebody to be worried about. He has represented at Chris Cuomo, Megyn Kelly, Robert Downey Jr., Vin Diesel, Mariah Carey, Alanis Morissette, Nicole Young, Dre's ex-wife, Gabrielle Union, Chris Harrison. He went to an established, well-trained law school. He has fought for many people in the entertainment industry that we know. He's also gone into battle with these agencies, these companies that, when you want to get into SAG or whatever, that will allow you to come in and be unionized or non-unionized and those things. So he knows his business. So I says, hey, we know who Mark Garagos is. That is, he's famed for having represented Michael Jackson. He's also represented Winona Ryder, Susan McDougal, Chris Brown, Scott Peterson. So they are not to be played with. If I got a letter from them, I am definitely on Wake Up. We are definitely getting to work. I was looking at and reviewing the organization that owns NBC Universal, and that is Comcast, and they're valued at nearly $200 billion. So they can pay and settle with all of the people, from the crews to the production, to the people who sign up for reality, to the kids who they may have broken some child labor laws on or with or whatever. I don't think this thing is going to go to court. I think it's going to get settled. And it's going to depend on who is actually part of this suit, since we don't know who is part of the suit. And they're going to get a nice piece of the pie. So I say congratulations to whoever put this team together with these attorneys, because they're going to win.
Thank you. Marisol, thank you for the super chat. I support Nene because she told no lies. Okay. All right. Wayne, you're up.
Okay. A couple things. First of all, Nene was on Carlos King's show. He was the interviewer. Okay. She answered the questions. Okay. If she hadn't answered some of those questions, it would have been boring and all that stuff. Those are her opinions. She's right to them. So we need to get past that. Other thing is that, like I said, they said she didn't, she the only one that stood up. But like Diva said, what about the rest of them? But you know what about the rest of them? And I'm just my opinion. It's hard to stand up and say you're against something when you ain't got no morals yourself. Okay? If you're a cheater or you're an adulteress or whatever, and the boss want to get with you and you get with you, it's probably not hard for you to say, oh, okay. Okay, so these people, just because they didn't stand up, and like I think E or Leo said, it's kind of hard when you got a job. I mean, when you got a mortgage to pay, when you got car note to pay, and all that stuff. And if one of the other ones had got out there instead of Nene and crashed and burned, nobody would even remember him. So that's why people don't go jumping out, trying to lead the pack. But again, like I say, when on top of you needing the money and you ain't got no morals, it ain't too hard for people to convince you to do something. Okay, and all these, like she said, with the lawsuits, when everybody get paid and get their money, I wonder how many of them going to come and say, thank you, Nene. Thank you, Bethany, or whatever. Okay, so they should be glad somebody stood up. And even though everybody don't like Nene, she got a bad mouth, she got this and all this other kind of stuff. But we don't know half the things that go behind the scenes on these reality shows. Okay, and when you want something bad, you willing to lay on the sofa for it. And some of them, they wanted that money bad. They wanted to be stars. They wanted to be, the reality stars, and they got it. Now everybody know who they are. That's it for me.
Ooh. Okay. In my opinion, you're out.
Listen here. I'm gonna make this quick, okay? Because here's the thing: like it or not, whether you like Nene or not, she's done a lot of terrible things. Ain't nobody taking that away from her. But nobody has the right to make you feel uncomfortable, unwanted, none of that stuff. I wouldn't care. Most victims are not perfect victims. That's the reason why it's so hard for victims to come forward because they always victim shame. And here's the thing: everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Nene did this. Oh, Nene did that." Nene still got her proof. Okay, I'm glad Nene still got her proof. And if Bethany want to stand up and help her, fine, help her. Because let me tell you something: when you're fighting a machine that is NBC Universal, they are a big machine, and they pay people to have their bet. So you could say that person to do this for this person, and that person do this. All at the end of the day, all of them getting a check. At the end of the day, all of them complained at one point because Nene said she got the text messages still from all of them that was complaining. So at some point, y'all all complained. You just didn't have the guts to stand up neither. And we can't say, oh, well, they took it until they got fired. Because how many people have you known that have went back to abusive husbands and stuff? They took it. Some people lose their life for it. I'm just saying we can't just keep judging people. A victim needs to have a right to be a victim. If somebody's doing something that victimizes them, that takes away anything from them, then they deserve to have justice because nobody has right over you as a person. Just because you sign a contract don't mean you sign your life over to them.
Well, depending upon what you sign, in my opinion.
It shouldn't even be no way that they can make you sign your life over. Like, I'm just saying that's abuse of your body.
And according to what the contract say, because you sign yourself over to a contract of marriage, and some people end up in good marriages and some people end up in bad marriages, but they sign that contract.
But does it make it right?
A legal contract.
But does it make it right?
See, the thing is, though, when it comes to the law, and what you sign, when you want to go before a judge on anything, once you signed it, that's why all of them ask you, like, when you want to say, well, the contractor didn't do what? Do you have the contract? Oh, you didn't have no contract? You SOL. You SOL. Because they're going to say, what does the contract say? I'm telling you, I saw that Bravo contract. It is yikes. But they sign it, right? Because they sign it because they want that money. And so
remember Fame.
But I'm just saying you shouldn't be able to sign nothing that's going legally, something that's legally shouldn't be able to be put in a contract. Like you shouldn't be able to put in a contract that you can sexually aid somebody. You shouldn't have it in a
contract in my
But that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't but that's what the letter say though.
I know what the letter says, but I'm telling
that's what I'm pointing out, Diva. I'm just saying, even if they signed the contract, it shouldn't be nowhere in the contract that say, "Oh, I'm gonna be called out of my name," "Oh, I'm gonna be SA'd," "Oh, I'm gonna be SH'd." Like none of this stuff should be in the contract. I'm gonna get leaked. Somebody can abuse.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just saying none of that stuff is in the contract. But I'm telling you what is in the contract, that they can cut and chop and use anything that is on film any which way they want, right? So that is part of like calling out of the name. Now, all of them know for sure, because they've been doing this, especially the ones that's been in a game for a minute, they know that they're being pit against each other, and they do it over and over and over again for that check. And so I am saying, listen, there's always a job to get, right? There's always a job to get. But the thing is, you don't want a job that's going to pay you $15 an hour. You don't want a job that's going to pay you $30 an hour. So you're selling part of your soul for the dollar.
But it's their image to sell, and they're
And
choosing to sell it
they signed
knowing
the
that they can.
contract.
Yes.
They sold it when they signed that contract. That contract, I got to go, it's on my other computer. It's nasty. It's very nasty. It even clearly says in that contract, and this all happened at the Bethany, it clearly says in that contract that anything you promote on there, they're getting a percentage of it, but you sign it. So you can't get mad after the fact, oh, they're taking my money, but you signed the contract. You can't get
Everybody get mad after the fact.
Right. You can't get mad at the record company because they stole all your money, according to you, but you signed the contract. Just like everything we do, it's some fine print. And a lot of us don't find out till later, well, that ain't part of the contract. And you be like, wow. And we got to
But Diva, but predatory contracts are also have to be addressed. And I think that this part of the argument comes to, is this predatory that they're doing with these reality shows and these reality stars, the contract that you said you are reading, and it's a nasty something, well, then it's a nasty piece of work. So is it predatory?
Right. No, because it's nasty to me, but they have, listen, you may not know it, but when photographers, even though you pay them with your wedding pictures, they own the freaking images. It's in the fine print. So they can do with a lot of those contracts that many people don't even know and don't read. They own the images. They could put them on their website. They could use them for whatever. And a lot of times people are not reading that part of the contract, that those photographers own those images and own the videos. You got to also be careful when you hire somebody to do a video for you or production or whatever. They will give you the video that you paid for after they edit it, but there's always a little fine print in most of them that say they own it. They own your footage of you. So and you can go back and cry all you want, but at the end of the day is what you signed off on that contract. Look at some of these contracts if you ever go.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But do you see it as predatory?
Oh, the contract that they signed? No.
Yes.
Not. No. And it is clearly in there. We're going to use your likeness. We're going to use this. We're going to chop it up the way we want. It's not even like it was fine print because the contract was not that huge and not that long. And this one was for the, like if you was going to be a friend of. And listen, the people that do ancillary stuff, like say you're coming on there because they're going to walk into your store, walk into your studio.
Yeah.
You signed in a contract that say we ain't paying you nothing. Listen, when I go to the talk shows in New York, we sign a contract. We ain't paying you nothing, but we may show you in the audience when we span the camera around you. You can't get in that studio and be a part of that studio audience without signing your likeness and all of that away. You sign in a contract. I'm just saying that everything we do when you sign, granted, nobody's going to sit there and read all those words, but that's why you better get yourself a lawyer. Even when I signed the mortgage for my house, do you really think I read every single one of them pages? I did not.
And it'd be so much paperwork. And you got to sign 17 different ways.
That part. Initial here, sign here. But you better believe when you doing that, it could come back to bite you. I know somebody that bought a brand new construction and it ended up being built on like under this water, like the water current, whatever, was making their house go like this. They've been fighting that whole construction company for years. The people's houses literally started to slowly go like this. But the people that did it, the construction company that did it, they knew they was building it on that thing. They're fighting them. But they signed all of these different contracts. Your warranty is only for this amount of years. But the freaking people that did it, they knew that whatever the leveling wasn't going to happen until that warranty was done there over. Like it slowly happened because people said they noticed like something would go on the floor and it would roll down this way. Child by. All I'm saying is when it comes to contracts, ignorance is not an excuse of the law. Now I'm not talking about
hire a lawyer and a good one.
Yeah, I'm not talking about sexual harassment. I'm not talking about all of these other egregious things that happen that they're saying in the letter. But I'm saying that some of the stuff, when it comes to, oh, we couldn't promote our business, oh, we couldn't do that. Well, y'all signed off on that. And I'm not talking about stuff.
But predatory is like payday loans. I know y'all probably don't have them in the north, but they're in the south. Payday loans.
We do.
And so they were signing people on 300% interest. That's predatory.
Right. No, but I'm telling you that this is not right, because you even have agents that take 10% of your business. So I'm telling you that it is not. I read it and I read it again. It was fair game. If you wanted to sign it, we're going to take 10% or whatever of your business or whatever that you promote on this show. Because listen, at the end of the day, it can't be predatory, right? Because where can you really promote for free except on maybe your own social media or your own this? Anywhere else you want to promote, you gotta pay. You understand? I read the thing. I broke it down, read the thing, and spoke to somebody who knows about them things. No, all that was written in there in terms of that. Of course, there's no job in the world where you should be subjected to sexual harassment, this, that, and the other. Now, the other thing I spoke about with my one girlfriend was, see, the thing is, when you go to off-work events, right, there are off-work events where alcohol is there. It is up to you and that bartender, whoever's serving, to not overserve you, and you know your own limit. You understand what I mean? So they're saying there's a lot that I don't want to, we can't break down here because I want to give everybody opportunity to speak. But even when they talk about all the alcohol was there, they are going to have to prove to the limit of certain things, like you overserve me, this, that, and the other, because employers are allowed to have work events and alcohol is there. You're an adult. You got to decide, do I drink 2? Do I drink 1? Do I drink none? You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things in there that they're saying, but there's other levels to it than just the surface. We're always going to get the sensational part when we're exposed to situations like this. But I'm saying lawyers are going to break this thing down, and it's going to come through a whole lot of other stuff. Now, the porn and all the other stuff is a whole nother level. But again, unfortunately, when you know the reality show is taping is 24 hours and you want to go in the room and have sex, it's just a lot that's going to go into it. I'm going to stop there and shut up because I'm up to carry. You're up.
Okay, I totally 100% disagree that you can't make change if you're afraid. I totally agree with that. And I would almost bargain to say that some people probably took offense to that.
Who said
people
that?
Maybe you did.
What did I say?
You said you can't make change if you're afraid.
When did I say that?
You can go back and watch it.
I don't think I said it in that context. I said
whatever context, those were the words that were said.
Okay, go ahead.
Because sometimes you have to wait until you're in certain positions to make change, be it financially or emotionally or mentally. So yeah, a person might be afraid to do it at the time, but that doesn't mean that eventually they can't make change. And that doesn't mean that they even want to. Just like I shared backstage, some people just may want to be out of the situation altogether. And I agree with Leo. It doesn't matter who, when, how, what, who's doing it. I don't care. I don't care if it's Bethany. It needs to happen. It really does need to happen. Everybody's not the same. Everybody doesn't have the same courage. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not like that. Everybody's not an out front, forefront type of person. And so I don't care about that. I said, and it's so easy for us to sit back and pass judgment. And even when Nikki said with the victim shaming, it has to stop. Like it really does. That's why people don't come forward. In my situation, or when I was in that situation, I wholeheartedly see why people don't come forward. Because you walk around with a scarlet letter. I don't care if a person is drinking. I don't care what happened on those sets. I don't care if a person was drinking just to loosen up or they got drunk. I don't care if a person was sniffing the booger sugar or they got high. No one has the right to put you in a situation that is where there's SA or SH or there's some type of hostile work environment going on or where you're being taken advantage of. It doesn't matter. Yes, maybe they shouldn't have done that. Maybe they shouldn't have drank too much. Maybe they shouldn't have been doing drugs. But that doesn't give anybody the right to do anything to violate you. at all. None of those things matter to me. And we don't know who's in this lawsuit. We don't know if it's the victims, or we don't know if it's the people that witnessed the things going on. Because if people don't know, people that's on the panel or people that's down in the chat, if you witness something in a work environment, you can report it as well. So, and I advise people to do that. Like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. It really isn't. When you go up against a machine like that, even if it's a small corporation, they're going to use everything they can. They'd rather have a predator in their organization than to fix the situation. And it's a shame, but that's just the way it is. But if this in fact has happened to you, I encourage you, like, read your company's SA policy, SH policy, you know, and measure it up against what has happened to you. Get you an attorney and you sue them. And don't be afraid. But if you're afraid, don't do it, because you will be standing alone.
You can't sell your soul and then ask for a refund.
Oh, hot damn.
Come on now, Rain. Listen, let me say this. If someone got the message that I'm victim shaming, then you missed my point.
No, I didn't say that you
Yeah,
were. I said
I'm
I
not saying
agree.
you
I said
did.
I agree with Nikki.
I'm not
I
saying
said
you did, though. I said if someone. So I just want to make that clear, because to me this is a very serious conversation, and I don't want anything that comes out my mouth to be misheard or misconstrued. So if anyone thinks out there, because there's 491 people in this building, so it's not just you. If anyone out there thinks that I'm victim shaming, I am not. Okay, I gave the example of the guy from Amazon, and maybe this is what you're talking about, where he stood up when he was in the inside. I do know, I'm not removed from it. I gave my own example of when I was part of a union and I didn't have to worry about money. So I made a certain decision based on that, because I didn't have to worry about money. My money was for me to buy clothes, pay my car note, pay my cell phone bill. So I understand that. So I'm not saying I don't understand. I'm not so removed from the process. But I'm saying this, that just like way back when, it's like, one person decide we ain't taking this bus no more. And then they all decided, and they shut the bus system down, and change happened. And I get it. We will always, I don't know too many people who work and they don't need the work. I know if I didn't have to work, there's no way I would be going 9 to 5, this and that, 11 to 7, whatever the case may be. I wouldn't go there. I want to ride on the fact that probably most people need their check. But I am saying at some point before it impacts you, because either way it's going to impact you. And this is just my opinion. Either way, the behavior is going to come to a boil and impact you. So you, in my mind, why not try to rise up before it really impacts you in a bigger way? And you have suffered so many things in the midst of you holding back and waiting and saying, you know what, I'm going to ignore. Even forget about work. Anything that you ignore too much is going to pop, is going to come to a bubble. So I'm not so removed from anything. I'm not like, oh, I'm this strong person, I would have bucked the system and did that. All I'm saying is, and I know that, sometimes, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not trying to come up against anybody else. And I get it. Y'all saying, Bethany, why not? Here's the thing. A person that's taking advantage is a person that's taking advantage. Whether they're taking advantage and it seems like that advantage is going to come in your favor, they're still taking advantage. I think it's just my opinion. That one right there too, she was part of the problem. The amount of things that she said about the Black reality stars, the amount of times that she complained about the money that they was getting when they was at the top of their game, getting it. So I
Who
get
we talking about? Bethany?
Bethany,
Ooh,
very outspoken
yikes.
about the Black cast on Roa. Why were they on top? Why are they getting XYZ dollars a year? Out of her own mouth. Potomac, she added to it. Oh, she went in. So my thing is, she's part of the people, but I guess if she wants to join the parade now, and but I think it's self-serving. But I guess if everybody benefits,
Definitely.
matter.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter. But all I'm saying is that, you know, you got to watch out for that too, because who knows what's really all going down and written in there and how this is going to pan out and who is really going to benefit in the end. So,
Yeah, who is eventually gonna get paid?
right, right. So it's just interesting to me because I followed all of them. Yeah, okay, let me see. Diva, you said yourself the contrary. I guarantee you those lawyers wouldn't take this case if they couldn't win. Lawyers take cases all the time because everybody has the right to be representative. I mean, no matter what case, no matter what happens, somebody's going to win or lose in the case.
Tasha K lawyer took that case and she wasn't even an attorney.
Come on now.
Yeah.
The lawyers and a lot of just like people want fame, lawyers seem to be wanting this fame now too.
They want fame too. They want fame too. They love being in front of
folks. Not these attorneys. Not these attorneys. These attorneys.
Okay, that's fine. But not only that, I'm shocked about the Lizzo victims representative lawyer. He going everywhere. He was on CNN again and again and again. You know, some of
really?
Oh yeah. I got a video. He responded to, and I want to get to the final people. He responded to so Lizzo's team put out the video of the girl auditioning again, saying how much she loved Lizzo, and the lawyer responded to it and said that that video was before all of the things that they're alleging. So he's saying that their lawyer is being slick by putting out that audition video because that audition video is, you know, prior to all the things that they're alleging. But it's also funny how it's like selective anger. It depends on who it is, what case it is, whether we're going to lean on the victim side or we're going to lean on the people that's doing this side, allegedly, right? Because it's all alleged. But they said when this Lizzo case came out, and this is on CNN, that the guy was shocked. I think it was Como that was speaking. He said, I was shocked to see that they didn't cancel Lizzo. A lot of people were saying that the victims are liar and it's a money grab. So it just depends on how the wind is blowing and who it is, on, you know, who we're going to decide to side with, a victim or the alleged perpetrator. You know, it really just depends. But and then I want to, after I go to Danon and Emmanuel, I want to bring in and add to the conversation the whole Kim K thing, because Tamar and them spoke about it. So Danon, what are your thoughts?
Season 1, she said they got paid $700 to $500. Season 2, $10,000. Season 3, something. But season 4, she said something that stuck out to me. She said all of them got together, got one lawyer. They band together, got one lawyer, went to production and said, we need more money. And because they were together, they got paid.
Facts.
What they were owed. Now, she does have copious notes, i.e. text messages, with all of them complaining, not just her, but all of them complaining about how they were being treated, production, other people on cast that weren't pulling their weight. She's the only one that decided to go and just make a complaint, not a lawsuit, but a complaint to production about the way they were being treated. Now, if they would have gone as a unit, like they were in the text messages, then maybe something would have gotten done. You can't be a text message thug, but when it's time to put your foot forward to make a change that ain't all about your money, you don't want to say something. That's my problem. Y'all can come together to make a bag, but you can't come together to say your complaints that y'all all been texting in these chats that she still has, that's a part of her lawsuit today. My other issue is, why did it take this white woman to say the same things that she's been saying all this time?
Oh Lord.
But now
all of a sudden, we believe it. It's happening.
Wait, Dadon, I'm gonna let you finish, but
it's happening now.
No, Dadon, I'm gonna let you finish. Let me just say this. I don't think, from my memories, nobody ever disagreed that what she was saying was true, because we knew it from Mariah. So I don't think anybody disagreed. But to your own point with what you just saying now, you said she got text messages, right? You said none of these girls, when it came time to stand behind her, stood behind her. But you also said throughout this whole conversation, people need their check and they should be able to speak up when they speak up, and it shouldn't matter when they speak up. That's what.
Go ahead, Diva.
That's what everybody's saying.
They speak, but they speaking up now.
No, but
so they don't need their check now.
No. Kenya is not.
That ain't what Diva saying. Go ahead, Diva.
Yeah, thank you. He said that Nene has text messages where all the girls was agreeing, and then they got a lawyer together to get their raise. But when Nene wanted to go take that thing all the way home, when she wanted to hit the ball out the park and make a home run to talk about all the things that was going in there, she was on an island by herself. So what I'm saying is, y'all doing a mixed bag here, right? Y'all saying that the people should be able to speak when they want, because everybody need their check. You got to pay your mortgage. You got a this. You got a that. Don't be saying you can't be scared. You can't do this because you can't make change. And then Dadon is saying, well, why nobody stood with her? She got the text messages because they wasn't ready.
Yes to all of that. Yes to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
However, we cannot blame her now for speaking out all alone by herself on the island by herself.
I don't think anybody.
We can't say she's doing it and blowing a gasket and doing all of this now because she decided to do it now. She waited 10 years. Oh well.
I said the same thing. It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. She waited 10 years. Oh well. They're still getting their bag. She hasn't. She's off the show, and she waited until she decided to file a lawsuit.
So
she loses credibility. She loses credibility when she said, "Well, I'm willing to go back." She loses credibility.
So let me ask you this.
She doesn't.
So you said she loses credibility. A stripper gets AR'd, and she decides to go back and work in a strip joint. Does she lose credibility because she doesn't report it?
Oh, I agree. Dadon is right.
Hold on 1 second.
Absolutely not.
I don't want to get too far off the track.
No, that's not getting off the track.
I feel that
because we're talking about credibility. We're talking about credibility here.
Right, but hold on.
Absolutely not.
Hold on 1 second. Lakeisha, thank you for the super chat. Actually, Nene said a while back that all the housewives on Raw agreed to complain as a group, and Kandi went and told Bravo what they were planning. Kandi, let me roll with you. Kandi went and told Bravo. Okay, that was Kandi. Why couldn't the other girls still go roll with Nene? Why? Because y'all said yourself, let the people come in their own time. So if we're going to have a conversation and I'm going to roll with what y'all saying, then y'all got to stick by what y'all saying too. And what I'm going to say is this, Dadon. If I'm saying that my boss is nasty, mean, dirty, just all kind of stuff, right? Then my boss throws a party at his house and I go. Does that make sense? I don't have to go to no after work activity. I got to do all my stuff on the job while I'm there, but I don't got to participate in no after work activity. So if you don't want to use the word credibility, it doesn't look good that I claim that this person puts me in so much distress, but now they throw a party outside of the job and I'm there in their face, kiki and ha-ha with them and partying with them.
It doesn't look good, but people do strange things to go along, to get along, and to make themselves agreeable. And I can kind of see what the Don is saying when it comes to, that whole stripper thing. And Nene, I'm equating that to Nene saying she will work with Kim again. She's throwing out an olive branch and says, hey, I'm willing to work with you all under, I'm not so bad. I'm not so difficult. it's a weird thing, and I can see why someone would do that who is, trying to look eligible for employment. I can see why somebody would do that, even though it's wrong and it doesn't look good.
Let me throw this in there, E. If I'm complaining to the job that y'all got a whole lot of racist things going on here, and I would say, listen, I ain't going back into the meeting until you got some race relation classes, until we do this, that, and the other. You bring Al Sharpton in here, somebody. But I'm not going to keep walking into the lion's den knowing that you didn't remove the lions, the tigers, and the bears. It just doesn't make sense to me. But hey, I'm crazy. I've been
It
told
doesn't make sense, but
I've been told that many times.
the
I'll accept that I'm crazy, but there's no way. Now, if you told me you made a change, you removed the lions and the tigers and the bears, then I walk back in there. And then when I walk in and find out that they're still there, I'll be like, y'all crazy. They are still there, and we need to deal with this.
But this is the best she got, though.
Hold on, Michelle. Michelle, I'm not deflecting. You got to try to connect to the conversation. I'm not trying to go far off. I'm not deflecting. I'm listening to people. I'm letting people speak. And in between, I interject with my thoughts. Just like everybody else has their thoughts, I have mine. Just like you don't agree with my thoughts, I don't have to agree with yours. We are having a conversation. How is that deflecting? To say that somebody got violated by their body and they're still going to walk back in that situation, to me, I don't feel that it is the exact same, right? A violation of your body, and to walk in a situation where you're saying that someone was racist, this, that, and the other, and subjected you to some different.
It's apples and oranges. You cannot dictate how a violation like that works.
Right.
And you know what?
Let me let Emmanuel in the building because he didn't get to speak.
Can I say one more thing, please?
Yes, you can.
It is hard. I'm just putting myself in her shoes. It is hard. It would be hard for me to see a situation that you put together on your back, that you were the initial producer, caster, creator of, not creator, but caster of, just snatched up from underneath you. You no longer have an input in it. You no longer have anything in it. It's just taken away from you. At some point, you want to get it back, but you want things to be a little bit better when you come back. Maybe in that loss, she said she's willing to talk to people now. She's healed a little bit. She's willing to have conversations. That's what she said. She's willing to have conversations. At that time of her lawsuit, she was pissed. She was angry. She said that. But she's willing to have conversations now. Maybe that's the healing that's required. Maybe that's all that's needed right now is a conversation. But the great white hope has gone and made this lawsuit, and apparently it has 50 other housewives with this lawsuit.
So let me.
A matter of fact, it's more than that. She says she's spoken to hundreds of. It's because it's not just the housewives. It's cast. It's employees. So everybody is jumping on this train.
Let me get Emmanuel in on a conversation, and let me get Emmanuel in on the conversation. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts?
Hey, Diva and everyone. So, just because someone signed a contract doesn't mean they can be deprived from normal, decent human rights that any employee deserves. Everything I was reading that was alleged in that lawsuit, if you're a true Bravo watcher, when you read those allegations, you instantly remember moments where that happened. And this is what Nene has been trying to tell us since 2020. The problem is that most people can't understand what she's saying because they're seeing it through tinted lenses. Like, okay, yeah, she said Cynthia should be fired or she fought with Claudia. None of that matters. And that's the thing, because like us who believe in Nene, we are able to admit that, yeah, she did a lot of bad things. She did a lot of good things as well. but that doesn't matter. What matters is the treatment that she and everyone is getting and are being subject to. I also saw a video where Bethany said that she has had more than 100 calls. She's been contacted by more than 100 people. So this is big. This isn't just something small. I think that the faces of this lawsuit should be Bethany, Nene, because she's the one who brought this to begin with, and Raquel, because I saw the Vanderpump Rules and Andy allowed that poor girl to be verbally aided, and that's on tape. That happened on the reunion stage. I'm surprised she's still alive based on everything that she endured. And then here's the final thing I want to say. When Kenya and Candy get fired, because they're not going to be there forever, they better not be out here complaining about unfair treatment, because it's one thing to stay silent, but they came out and said that everything she said was a lie and that Andy was not racist and so on. So this is going to be monumental, and I can't wait to see what happens.
So let me just add this, and then I want to add another piece. So Raquel was the only person that ever got verbally abused in a reunion?
No, I'm just giving an example. But if you saw that reunion, no, I don't remember anyone ever being told what she was told. I mean, they were telling her, "I wish the worst thing in the world can happen to you. Go F." I mean, it's a lot of examples. I'm just talking about that one, but they go through a lot.
Not to mention they bringing back them 3 races for the Vanderpump Rules spinoff.
They sure are. Mm-hmm.
But I want to just go back to the reunion. There's always a focus at these reunions where people get berated because it was her level. Now, I don't disagree that level was extreme, but she's not the only one.
Yeah, I know.
So but are you asking that question? Are you?
No, but my thing is,
no. I want to know. Are you asking that as like you just want to be the devil's advocate, or are you like I'm trying to figure out where your tone is coming from? That's all.
No, my tone is coming from that. The Don said, you know, here it is. Raquel is suing him now. Somebody said, the Don is saying, oh, when the Great White Hope spoke, now everybody wants to believe everything that went on at Bravo, blah, 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 whatever. Now, Emmanuel is saying what happened to Raquel is just deplorable.
No, he was just giving one example. That's all.
Can I speak? I mean, I feel like everything that comes out my mouth is like you just like boom, 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 boom. Like I'm just being like, he said his example, right? And I'm just trying to say mine. All I'm saying is that a lot of these girls, when it came time for the reunion, got berated, got knocked down, got whatever, right? So what I'm also saying is that this behavior, I'm not for 1 minute saying, oh, it didn't happen. Shay, thank you for connecting with me. Good gosh, right? You know, I'm not saying this behavior didn't happen. I'm not saying that all of this shouldn't be taken care of. I'm not saying that, you know what, this should not happen on a job. But unfortunately, it was the norm for years, and we all watched it go down. There's so many people. They got on Portia one time at the reunion. They did Monique dirty at the reunion. It's like whoever is the problem with that particular season in the reunion.
Monique did them dirty at the reunion. Past the holy whore.
That part. It was like everybody gets
Monique defended herself. We will not do Monique that way.
Thank you, Smoke. Okay. Good gosh. I mean, okay, listen, we're gonna move forward. We're gonna move forward because we all know how we feel about this situation. I want to introduce another piece into the conversation that Tamar had. That Tamar had also let me just let me add this into it. Thank you guys. The neighborhood talk. Here we go.
So the smoke should be more so with the networks, which it sounds like it is. And you are a big star. People know who Nene Leakes is. People know who Kim Kardashian is.
It's not the same thing. No, what she's saying
not the same thing. Without a doubt, these are all valid points, super valid complaints, and the disparity between races, reality TV, and the results, they're 100% fact. I don't think you can discount
the biggest video in the world for a few years. I think that's
y'all real funny. Y'all real freaking funny. Not when I created Braxton Family Values and Kim Kardashian got the $100 million check. Let's talk about that. So we're not even going to sit here and talk about sex and television, creating TV shows and who deserve what when. It is unfair, point blank, and the period.
Oh, Hollywood is racist, and they will cut you the booty end of the stick, but you got to play a harder game of football.
That's right. Is that what it is? Oh, so you want me to die and come back white?
Well, no. You can do it while black.
That's not the only way that's going to work.
I stand with Nene on this. I feel like a lot of people are trying to shun her. I feel like the Braxtons should be bigger. There are a lot of Black women in reality television that opened so many doors and had the same opportunities but didn't get the same push.
But wait up, Miss Jackson girl. Now, I understand all what you're saying. Now, that's a little delusional, but...
Wow, what is?
Yeah. Okay, girl, Miss Nene, honey, had a lot, and I love her dearly. I love Nene dearly. Nene had a lot of opportunities. She was on Glee. She was on all these different damn shows. She on Stars. She had everything.
Yeah, because she had to figure out how to make an income because the pay is not fair.
Hello.
The pay is not fair between Kim Kardashians, the Braxtons, or Atlanta Housewives.
Well, the pay
That's not
be,
fair.
The pay
I'm
not
sorry.
fair, but
we're doing the same thing. Why are we not getting the same price?
Well, okay,
Why
I mean, but
on
there's a
earth?
gang of factors, like the viewership between one show and another show. The fact that, like, on the Kardashians, you could mention all your businesses. The show was about the
And
businesses.
we couldn't. On
But that's
WeTV,
what
we
Nene
could
says.
not. We
Yeah,
had
that's
to
what
pay
Nene
for it.
says.
So the
as if
smoke
we was
should be
paying for
more so with the
advertising.
networks, which it sounds like it is.
yeah,
And you are a big star. People know who Nene Leakes is. People know who Kim Kardashian is.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, so that conversation was sparked because Nene has said that let me see, did I read this super chat first? The key thank you for the super chat. CK also said that Carlos King also said that much larger platforms offered to pay Nene for an interview. She chose Carlos King and didn't ask for compensation. She will get 0 for the 1 million views. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. All right. So that conversation sparked because in the interview, Nene said, she said that she should be bigger than Kim Kardashian, right? Pretty much that nobody backed her the same way that Kim Kardashian was backed. This is my take on the conversation, on that particular piece of the conversation. You know, there are many artists that might feel like they can be as big as Beyonce, but you're not. I mean, I don't know what to do. And people want to say, well, it's the house that I built. You can look up several companies now, right? You can look up Gucci. It's not owned by the Gucci family. Famous Amos didn't own the cookie, right? It's so many that I can list where the person built the house and they don't currently own it. It's like, okay, you lost the house that you built. So to just simply say they own me, I am going to say this. At what point do you take a piece of the pie and you push yourself? I don't get that. And I would beg to say that right now, if we think about our own current jobs, and I'm gonna make this low just for speaking purposes. If I'm making $5 an hour, and then the new person comes in and I've been working there 10 years and they make $5 an hour, who wouldn't feel some type of way? So when we say equal pay, I'm trying to figure out what exactly do people mean by that, and what exactly are they expecting? Are they going to be okay with if I've been a housewife for 10 years and I'm making $1 million and then the new girl comes in and she makes $1 million too? Now, hear me out, people, because I know sometimes y'all don't like to hear what I'm saying. Not saying whether it's fair or not or what it should be. I'm wondering, would they be okay with that? That you was on that show for 10 years or 5 years and you make $1 million, and then now the new person comes in and they make $1 million too. Are they going to be cool with that? I'm trying to understand when they're saying equal pay, what do they mean? I also want to throw this in there in terms of the bracket. They were family. When they tried to band together so they all can get a higher pay, God rest her soul, but their own sister didn't take a part of that band. And God rest her soul. And I'm just throwing food out there for conversation. Their own sister took the stance of, I gotta pay my bills. I can't stand with y'all right now because whatever she was getting at that time from the show, she needed it. And so for me to just wake up and maybe let's just say, I don't really know too many popular shows that's on TV right now, but let's just say I'm on the most popular show, like Friends was a very popular show. And then there's another show that wasn't as popular as Friends when Friends was popular. Those individuals, because of advertisement and all of that other stuff, was making $1 million at one point because they banded together per show, right? So then another show where they're not really being watched and they should all make $1 million too. So I'm trying to see, like, and my thing is too, again, you're comparing yourself to the Kardashians, right? And everybody keeps it basic when it comes to the Kardashians. They want to say, well, they got money because they did a sex tape. But the thing is, they did much more after that sex tape, right? Now, we can talk about opportunities and push, but if we keep it 100, this is not isolated to the reality TV, just point blank in a period. Certain people will always get pushed. We can go back to when the radio stations where they would have certain people have to go beg to get their record played and others never got their record played. You know, way back, let's just say one black artist will make a song. They would never get it played on the radio. The non-black artist will remake the song and it would get played on the radio all day long. So these grievances, that's why I'm saying I'm not far removed from it. It's been happening as the day is long. I'm just trying to figure out where we talking fair. And when you're talking about push, you know, I feel there is a difference because there's more behind who's pushing them. That mother, Kris Jenner, and everybody can hate the family all they want. I'm just trying to throw food for thought out there. That mother, Kris Jenner, she was like Joe Jackson. She was like, what's Beyonce and them father? There's certain individuals that will push their brand so that no matter what the barrier is, they don't have to worry about saying, oh, they didn't help me, they didn't help me, they didn't help me. Because there's a machine, and that machine is within their group that pushed them past that barrier. The Jacksons, their dad helped them get pushed past that barrier. The Beyonce's father helped them get pushed past that barrier. Serena and Venus' dad helped them get pushed past that barrier. So it's not just like looking at who's going to help me and push me and just give me equal pay. There's some work that has to go behind your brand and who you are, and you have to own a piece of that. Are you going to be the one that keeps saying, y'all doing me dirty, y'all not doing me right, y'all not paying me fairly? You got to push past that barrier. And to me, there's some work that has to be done to be pushed past that barrier. And yes, Kris, no matter what you want to say about her, she's a beast. She's a beast. She's going to make sure those contracts are signed the way they're supposed to be signed. And then I'll say this, whether we like it or not, there's a circle, and you got to get in that circle so that when you are ready to make them moves, the circles can happen. Let me see. Diva, also the Kardashian has won the People's Choice over other reality shows, including Roll, when shows have gotten more ratings, period. Listen, yet. Here's the thing. I think y'all might be missing part of my conversation. I'm not saying that these biases don't exist. They exist 100%. But until we get in certain circles, you could try to force their hand. But you know what? Even when you force their hand, they're going to do the bare minimum to shut you up. But it still ain't going to push out the biases and push you past the barriers. You know, I want to say Whoopi Goldberg, there are not that many Black people on the Oscar board. And now you see Will Smith, he done messed up and now he can't even vote or do anything on it. So it's a lot of dynamics that go into this, but I want to stick to the dynamic of if you have a brand, you yourself are also responsible for pushing that brand and for getting past certain barriers. You can't just sit back saying, woe is me, and y'all doing me dirty. You got to push past the dirtiness and figure a way to navigate through it. We can't deny race and crossover appeal, push over. I'm not denying that, Miss Drew Kelly. Not denying it at all. All I'm saying right now is somehow Beyonce and Jay-Z pushed past it. Somehow Diddy, as dirty as he is, he pushed past it. Somehow the Jackson family pushed past it. Somehow Serena and Venus, in a sport that you don't see many of us, their dad figured a way to push past it. So that's all I'm saying right now. E, what are your thoughts on that conversation I just showed?
Matthew, Jay-Z, Diddy, all thieves. That's what I'll start off by saying. Yes, they push past it. They're thieves. Kris Jenner, she's a thief as well. Now, yes, you push through, but ultimately, just because you have a machine behind you, that doesn't mean the people are going to buy in. You have to have something that is going to be marketable to get the people to buy in. The push was Destiny's Child. Yes, but the people didn't buy in to Kelly. She's the more talented vocalist, but they bought into the light-skinned, thicker, curvaceous girl in the front, even though her vocals were not as strong. Michelle can out-sing Beyonce. If we're going to go there, but it's keeping the train on track. Tamar, you need to call your sister. You need to call Tawanda, you need to call Trina, and you need to call Tony. I feel like to know that you weren't getting paid that much and you felt you had these grievances about money, all of them, because they were all struggling financially at one point or another, but they should have known better as many times as Tony has filed for bankruptcy. If you ask me, Tony had the celebrity and status to come into the reality show arena making more money than what they got. I feel like what lowered the value is the sisters. And Tony has been upfront about that she could have gone much farther had she not been trying to bring on the sisters. Tony has an air about her. There's a certain level of class. And when you put somebody, and I like Tracy, she was one of my favorite ones, but when you put Tracy on the show and you put somebody like Tamar promoting every Black stereotype there is, and then you're talking about advertising dollars from Porsche and Mercedes-Benz. I don't know if Porsche will want to advertise with somebody like Tamar or Nene. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. I'm sorry?
No, I was saying you're speaking facts. Go ahead.
So we have to look at that too. Yes, you may have the viewership, but who's pushing the advertising dollars? What brand is buying into this? This is what I'm talking about as far as buying in. And the other component to that is with Kim Kardashian, they were already entangled with the Norwoods. The Norwoods were at one point back in the early 2000s and the 90s. They were so tight-knit and respected at that time. And so they were all, and then you have to remember the father was enriched in all of this, the who's who of the power people. So they had some secret weapons within their arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And so it's not like they just came out of nowhere and began to take over. I remember after that tape drop with Kim and Ray J, those three girls, Chloe, Courtney, and Kim, were everywhere. I remember they had the fashion line in Sears. I remember the reality show. They had the fragrances. Those girls were everywhere. I know Nene she did her tax boutique. It's not even the same level. It's not even the same level. I don't remember. But when we talk about work ethic, and this is something I've heard Kim talk about, I've heard Chris talk about, I know that those girls work. I know their rate is higher, but those girls work and they sacrifice. When it comes to the Braxtons, and I was an avid watcher, Tamar has said herself, Trina, lazy, doesn't want to go to work. Tawanda, lazy, don't want to go to work, chasing behind these men. Tracy, lazy, don't want to go to work. Tony can't go to work, she has lupus. But the whole thing is that we're talking about work ethic. And I can't do the same thing. I can't book Kim, Courtney, and Chloe, and I'll leave Courtney off because we know she's lazy too now. But I can't book Courtney and Kim the same way I can book Trina and Tawanda because they're not going to show up for work. Even when they had the Iyanla on their episode for the Braxtons, you saw they even showed up late. Tamar was late. Tony was late. Iyanla got mad and had to go into the other room and she had to leave the set. So in closing, I'm going to say this because yes, you want the money, but you don't show up on time. Maybe Kim Kardashian has been late a few times. I don't know about Kim having a bad reputation like that as far as not showing up for bookings. But I know for a fact Tony has been known to miss a few shows. Tony has been known to show up at concerts and have the CD playing in the background and she's not singing live. I've seen she's been to For Sisters Only in Atlanta. And you got the CD playing, and I don't even hear Tony except when she's on her ad. There's almost like, woo! Like, I don't want to hear that. Sing the verse. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just really feel like, yes, it's not fair. However, these people signed the contract. And I do think, because I remember when Tracy backed out of the negotiation process, and I do think that is dirty. And even though I like Candy, I see Nene's point. If we all agreed to have these grievances and we're going to go forward and you backdoor us and you sniped us, you went to the production company and you showed our hand before we were ready and you took away our power. Tracy did the same thing and I like Tracy. But when people do that, that is the house NIGGA mentality because you're scared. She needed the money for whatever she needed the money for. But in the process of you getting those little bitty dollars, you blew the bigger bag and you blew up our mission. You betrayed us. You betrayed our cause and our mission. That is a hurtful thing and that is wrong to do, but that comes from slavery, that divide and conquer. Diva, you say this all the time. We're stronger together. Yes, you do say we're stronger together than we are apart. And Tracy, she blew that for them. And Candy, I don't know what Nene and them were playing it, but she kind of blew that for them too. And that makes me, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
So thank you, E. You actually connected with my conversation. I feel like I get they're upset about not having this equality, so to speak. But again, in my opinion, it's apples to oranges. Is no comparison, none whatsoever. Because like you said, they had the connections before, and yes, believe it or not, I used to shop at Sears all the time. They had a line in there, the Kardashians. So did Jennifer Lopez, had some clothes in there, and I want to say at one time, what's the name? Simmons, Russell Simmons, Kamora Lee had a little something up there in Sears. Sears has some stuff. Okay, all right. Leo, you're up.
You pretty much hit it over the head with me. It's and you also said this too. It's apples and oranges. The Kardashians and the Braxtons. I love their show. Mm-hmm. I love the show. Even my dad, he's 75. He loved that show too. When it was on, he was sneaking watching. He liked that show a lot, and so I get that they were marketable and I get that they had ratings, but they did not create a brand. The Braxtons did not create a brand. The Kardashians created a brand. They had a brand before they had this show, and they expounded upon that brand with the show. Mm-hmm. They really did, and it was a lot of other things in play. Kim got married to Kanye. Kanye introduced her to different, rooms, that fashion rooms, that she could get into. She had the face, he had the knowledge. It was a lot of things that happened that gave them that place that the Braxtons did not do. The only thing they did was had the cameras rolling. They did not monetize on it. I know Trina opened a business. Mm-hmm. I do realize that. They did a little bit, but they did not use the platform for promotion, like straight up promotion.
Right.
Straight up promotion.
Even if they didn't use it for promotion, they didn't build those same businesses the way that
right. That's right. They didn't build businesses. They didn't create connections. They didn't network. Right. They didn't do any of those things.
Right. Let me say this. what I go back and forth about the knowledge of Kanye West, but I will say this. I am leaning a little bit more to this man is a genius that has some things going on. And the reason why I say that, he came up with that name and he came up with Skims. And God darn it.
But it's a documentary I watched, and I encourage everyone to go to Lovely T, and she got a documentary about the relationship between Kim and Kanye, and she pulled up stuff from the crates that I have never seen before. And so it's not about him being a genius or not, because I mean,
I told you I ride on the fence, but can I tell you this? That name he came up with, Skims, which has her name in it, Kim, and the fact that that brand is like $1 billion business now, regardless of it, I mean, whether the stuff or whoever feels about the stuff, and just the way he did level up her fashion.
She did. That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
He
Cleaned
did.
out her whole closet. It was on the show.
Yes, it was.
You remember they had on them leopard prints and them cheetah prints. That rainbow fashion stuff they had in their closet.
Yeah, he did, and he did so much for her. Yeah, somebody say he's absolutely brilliant in marketing. Thank you, Smoopy, because I'm trying to get the words right. I'm trying to figure this thing out. The man has it in him, but then he got that, you know, we all got sides in us, right? But it's like that other side keeps rising up, that's crushing this side. But God darn it, that man is another one that can truly go down in history. Because even I don't like nothing Yeezy, but
I don't either.
Darn it,
but I'm old though, so you can't go
right. He blew that thing out the water with Yeezy. He blew that thing out the water because those people, when it came out, they didn't care. They were spending 4, 5, 6. Even the resale value on them Yeezys was out of control. And I thought, I was like, are you serious right now? Because my son came and begged me. And when he put his stuff on the Gap, when they did a collaboration with the Gap, when the site went up with his stuff, it shut down. It shut down. So that's what I'm just saying. This man, so that's what I mean too, behind, you got to do something with it. They can't just, it's not them just going to be push you. They can push you, but still, you're not going to be the best if you don't do something with that push. Do you know what I mean? I could push you to practice basketball if you're a player, but if you're not going to be like Kobe Bryant and keep practicing, you're never going to be Kobe Bryant, no matter how much I push you. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Right. Let me see. At Chronicles are great. Do you think it's possible location of the filming has something to do with pay and benefits? I don't, because if you go historically, because that's why I'm gonna be very honest with you. A lot of the franchises, when Roa was in its heyday, they was hating on Roa because those ladies, hands down, it's undeniable. It's documented. They were the highest paid housewives.
They got paid.
They was in their heyday. There was 10 top paid housewives. I want to say 5 of them came from Roa. So all I'm saying is that it had nothing to do with that. When they was number one, they was raking in the cash because other housewives started to demand those $1 million checks because Nene and them was getting 2.5 million, 2.8 million, 2.2 or whatever, because they was at the top of their game. And that's when those other ladies started asking for that amount of money, the other top ladies. But if you go historically, you can Google it to this day. The top 10 highest paid housewives at one time was Nene, Candy, and I want to say Phaedra was on that list.
And Cynthia.
There was a list of 10 housewives, and although the Housewives franchise was 90% other, the top paid ones was all Black.
But Sheree was never on the list. Oh, poor Sheree.
She was not. So what I'm saying is that everything that happened wasn't all bad. Everything that happened wasn't so unfavorable to them. If you're going to play the game, then you got to play the game and you got to accept the losses and the wins. But you can't say that hands down, they might have been racist, but even though they was racist, like I said, at one time, out of the top 10, 5 of them was black, and they wasn't getting paid pennies. They was getting paid millions. And people go back to the beginning of time when Nene said the first show they was paid 10,000. Well, nobody on their first show was paid anywhere in the 100,000s or the millions. None of them were. None of them were. But Felicia, I want to hurry up and close.
Young people get only paid 2,000 the first season.
Right. I want to hurry up and close this thing out. Felicia, I'm coming to you. I'm going around, and then guys, because I'm on overtime, I'm gonna close this thing out. Go ahead, Felicia, especially because I got something to go tomorrow.
Okay, I'm not going to keep everybody long. You know, I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm looking at this lawsuit. I thought you were going to go into what the actual letter stated, which there was no mention of racism. It was about pornography. It's about physical and mental abuse. It's a whole different piece. Someone mentioned Nene's interview with Carlos King White. She got 0 for doing that interview with him. I think it was a strategic move. I thought it was a brilliant move based on this lawsuit coming out 48 hours after part 2. I didn't see it as a waste. I think it was brilliant. I think they're going to be very successful. I did get to watch that interview, and Nene did admit that she didn't know much about corporate culture. And unless you've worked in that corporate world, you may not know how people move, how things get done. So I'm going to give her grace to that. I'm not invested in these shows. I'm not invested in these celebrities. So whatever her persona was, I'm going to take it as any other piece of medium that I'm watching. And when I'm listening to folks, it seems like folks had a personal investment, but I do not. And right now, I think this lawsuit is such brilliant timing because of this strike with the writers. So a lot of these media companies are hoping to produce more reality TV because you don't have to have writers. You don't have to have people in the union to produce them. And they're saying, oh, no, you're not going to go in that direction. You're going to pay these people. We're going to get unionized. There's going to be residuals. You're going to not have children on the set. I mean, I'm floored by what was written in this letter of complaint, that children were being abused on the work sets. And a lot of the cast and crew were assaulted, and violence of all types were done during these filmings. So that's my close for tonight. I'm looking at it from a legal perspective. I find it immoral and illegal. I agree with Leo. Some of these agreements, yeah, you signed it, but it didn't make it non-predatory. It doesn't mean that it isn't illegal. And that is what this law firm is bringing out. And these folks are going to win. And I believe a settlement is a win. And new rules is a win.
Thank you. I am with Ebony K. Thank you for the super chat. She said, Kim is more marketable, but I don't like that she stole Black women's natural assets and marketed it back to us and made money hand over fist. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. My screen shifted a little bit. God, I don't know where I'm at now. Smoke, you're in the building. What are your thoughts?
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for putting on an entertaining show tonight. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially after these people been hard at work entertaining y'all for the last 2 hours with their opinions. They fighting each other. They cutting each other off, trying to get their perspectives in. So I need y'all to show that like and show the love. But in regards to
Smoke, I'm gonna let you go. Smoopy, thank you so much for the super sticker. Truly appreciate it. Okay, go ahead, Smoke.
Yeah, but in regards to this topic, I think we are starting to we are going to see a shift, not only because of just like the writer strike that's happening in Hollywood, but I think reality stars, I think they may get their union, and people may start to get paid a livable wage, and they may have more control on how they are perceived. Because even something that I think about that I think goes unnoticed, and love her or hate her, but if I'm correct, I think Nene is one of the most used housewives on Twitter as far as like gifts or video reactions to things and conversations, or the housewives of Atlanta in general. So I feel like they have impacted the culture in that way. I do get what the points are being made, that her behavior and her history can diminish or alter her message or how people receive it. So I understand both sides of it. I think when people are ready to speak, they should be allowed to speak and whatnot. But I also see how people can look at, but you saying X, Y, and Z, Bravo's racist, but yet you're the most housewife on Andy Cohen's show. You threw a baby shower for a supposed C word racist. So make that make sense to us. I understand how people will question that. But I mean, if more people are finally ready to, step up and be like, okay, we need to make a change, good for them. I mean, better late than never, but hopefully like this will probably lead to better entertainment for us, because even Sebastian said in the chat, the reality TV has been booming since the last strike that they had in 2008. So we starving for good TV. So hopefully y'all give the people their money, and that way we can have something of substance to talk about. I'm tired of seeing people fight. Now, honestly, I would want to see people's actual lives, them going through stuff, but seeing the good moments. I'm tired of seeing people end up at their worst. As far as what Tamar was saying, she's absolutely correct. Her sisters, the housewives, we even can look at Married to Medicine or Real Housewives of Potomac. They all do the same thing, well, somewhat of the same things as the Kardashians, but Kris Jenner, the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. She knows how to push her girls into certain positions, and they are where they are because of that. So I think it's a lesson as far as like, if you're in reality TV, you have to make every moment count, and you have to hustle to the point where you don't have to hustle anymore. And even technically the Kardashians don't even have to hustle anymore, but yet they're still doing what their show, whatever, on Hulu. So they're always staying in at a positive view. So I think this is a very interesting conversation. I can't wait to see who is actually on this lawsuit and who is not, because that will be very telling to who's willing to turn their blind eye for a check and who's really, really ready to stand up for each other and make things better. But that's all I got.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Chris wears Prada. Oh my God, the devil wears Prada. In my opinion, quickly, your thoughts on overtime.
Here's the thing with Kim Kardashian. Let's not forget Kim Kardashian dad is Robert Kardashian. So they were in a place where they already was hanging with the elite. She was sleeping with them, and Chris was mingling with them. So it's different. It's different, but the same. And it's like, I don't even want to go down that path. All I want to say is, victims should be, if they have been victimized, they should get their justice. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I feel like if it's real victims, then they should get their justice for being victimized.
100%. Nikki, your final thoughts?
I think what you guys were trying to say, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you and Leo were trying to say about the opportunities that maybe the other reality stars can take advantage of. Like, they did certain stuff, but they weren't able to do it to the Kardashians level. I think the difference is that a lot of the people in reality TV have built businesses, but they have not built an empire. And that is what the Kardashians have built. There's a difference. And a business is, I have my beauty supply. Maybe I even have two. But if I go on vacation, my business probably has to go on vacation. If you have an empire, if who has an empire? What's his name? The guy's name from Microsoft, I forget his name, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
If when he goes on vacation, Microsoft is going to continue on. And that's really what I feel like the difference is between like the Kardashians and the rest of the people. There are some, like, I feel like Bethany is probably more now a bigger empire, but I don't know if I would say she's an empire yet, but she's certainly on her way, because when the Kardashians are not on TV, they are making money when they sleep. And that's really when you call it an empire. You're making money 24/7, no matter where you are. Somebody is cutting you a check. And that's why I say they need to call Chris. Like, get Chris on the hotline, because the Kardashians know exactly what they're doing. And we can say all day, all night long, oh, they stole our style and our booties and our full lips, and that's all true. But at the end of the day, they're still executing. So I'm going to just give them their flowers. Anyway, that's it.
That's facts. Wayne?
Did Wayne go to sleep? Wayne and ate his cornbread. And
Wayne, wake up.
He was asleep.
Wayne, you're up.
He is out.
Oh,
He was knocked out.
No, I have. Oh, wait a minute.
Wayne, no,
I
we
got-
saw
I
the
got-
He was sleeping with his eyes
He
open.
was.
No. I had my television on too because I lost my sound on the phone.
Whatever you
So I
say,
keep
Wayne.
looking up at the television, and
Your mouth was
I didn't
open,
think my
Wayne.
mic was working.
No,
But
your
I'm gonna
mic was
pass
open.
on this one.
Okay, no problem. No
Okay.
problem. So Mo said YouTubers better be prepared to pivot because I guess she's saying like a lot of us in this sector, we kind of recap the reality shows. I'm prepared to pivot, especially because I'm almost tired.
You ready to pivot?
You've already pivoted. You were a nurse and all of that, and now you doing this. Like you good?
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about even with my channel because I'm almost tired of the reality shows because it's like I feel like I'm in the same vicious cycle over and over and over again. It's just different characters, a different name of the show, but they're going through the same scenarios, arguing over stupid stuff, having fights,
Stupid stuff. Yeah.
games, and I'm really near my wits end with it. Don, your final thoughts?
You go from a closet cleaner to on your knees to one of the biggest reality TV stars in the world. I give you props.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I do agree with what Nene said. All of them are on NBC Universal. They're all under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
The Real Housewives of Atlanta had higher ratings on those first few seasons, yet the Kardashians were getting paid more money. The advertising dollars were with the Housewives of Atlanta, yet the Kardashians were getting paid more money. I just looked up the stats. So I do get what she was saying about the push. The Blitz was behind the Kardashians. You saw them more in public, like on the major morning shows, during those early seasons. So I get what she's saying behind the push. Now the business part of that's all their mom. Nene, those women didn't have Kris Jenner behind them, but Kris was smart. She divorced her Kardashian. She got with another man that decided to be a woman, and so she know how to find the money. So her daughters follow behind her in her footsteps.
To be honest with you, though, Bruce Jenner didn't have money. His name is Bruce, right? Or before he changed it, he didn't
Caitlyn.
have. Caitlyn had money. Didn't have money when they met. She actually, if you go look at the story of that, he was an ex-tennis player, right? And
He was an Olympic.
Olympic, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was an Olympic, right? So a lot of people was calling him to do speaking engagements, and he was pretty much some of them he was going to do for nothing. And this is back in the heyday before technology was what it was. She made flyers, she took over, and she started to demand that he get money for his speaking engagements. So when they got together, it wasn't with money with him, but that she even tells like that is how she ended up becoming the momager, because she first started managing him. And and she learned how to speak with the people and do this and navigate whatever the case may be. So I just think that no matter who you are, what brand you are, you have the right people behind you and you're pushing that brand can elevate, but you got to be consistent. You can't give up. And no matter how many doors slam in your face, you can't just be like, well, woe is me. You got to go ahead. And, to your point, Don, I get it. Nene, definitely. Even if we want to put her as the best, we could put her as the best. But there are many bests that have fallen and they had to get over it. Emmanuel, I think I went to you already, right? Did I go to you with the final thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Let me just say this. So in a way, I do give the Kardashian props because they do work. And like, I remember when Kim did that interview and they said, what do you do to be successful? And she was like, get your ass up and work. And everybody was so outraged. I supported her because she's right. But that does not negate the fact that somebody like the Braxton family should have just as much notoriety and fame, because I watched the Braxton Family Values and that show was super entertaining. And the difference between them and the Kardashians is that each one of them actually has talent. Tony they're all singers. They're funny. They're hilarious. They're entertaining. So I agree with Tamar. Somebody mentioned Tracy. I believe the reason she didn't boycott was because it was a problem with their communication. It was a big thing back in that season. But I do agree with what Tamar said. And they're different because Kim Kardashian is sort of like a sex symbol. So I get why she's different than Nene. But as far as what they've given, I do think Nene should be as big as the Kardashians, and so should the Braxtons.
I hear you, Emmanuel. I guess the only thing I want to end with that is there are a lot of singers. I'm just using a singer as thing that they sing better than whoever's on top right now, and they feel they should be bigger too, but they're not. There's a ton. There's a lot of actors that feel they didn't get their accolades. There was when Boyz II Men was out, there's a group that slipped in my mind. They used to get pissed all the time at the awards because Boyz II Men would always win and they was overlooked. It happens.
Was it New Edition?
No, it wasn't New Edition. Jodeci. It was Jodeci. Jodeci used to get so pissed. So pissed. It happens though.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they should be.
So did India.Arie.
India.Arie.
Love
yeah,
her.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pissed. So pissed because she wasn't.
And I love her music. But I love Alicia Keys too. I love Alicia Keys too.
So what I'm saying is the grievances that are being presented before us, they exist now, they exist before now, and they're going to exist after now. And all I'm saying, and not in a fresh way, how do you move past the barrier that you already know is there? How do you move past it?
You should knock it down.
Oh, boom. Boom. But see, here's the thing, Emmanuel. You're not going to knock it down by saying, woe is me and I should be there. You're not going to knock it down that way because nobody's going to care. You got to figure out a way. You know the barrier is there. You got to figure out a way to knock it down. Who did I not get to so I can get out of here?
Can I just add this real quick, Eva? And don't they always say you're only as good as the last thing you did?
Come on now. Come on now.
Give me fair treatment. Circa Brown versus Board.
Yeah. Okay. So who did I not get to for the final thoughts so I could close out? Everybody's good?
We good.
Okay.
Eva, go get a drink.
Yeah, yes. So listen, Don. No alcohol on the job. No alcohol on the job. Listen, I just want to run through this one real quick. Now, this is old. This is old. Eileen was getting $750,000 at this time, right? Melissa Gorga, $750,000. Denise Richards, $1 million. Teresa Giudice, 1.1. Bethany, $1 million plus. Phaedra Parks, 1.3.
As she should.
Portia Williams, 1.3. Not Cynthia Belly, 1.8. Candy Burris, 2.3. Nene Leakes, 2.85 million. I only brought that up to say, people, those girls was rolling in the dough in their heyday. They were at the top of the billings when it came to Housewives. I'm just throwing that out there. Food for thought. I see y'all next time. Y'all done killed me on this particular live. I was afraid to do it. I was like, I don't know if I should do this.
You did a good job.
We had
But you the people's champ, girl. You the people's champ.
That kind of money should none of them be broke.
Huh?
That kind of money should none of them be broke.
Right, but yes, because I'm gonna shut up because we'll be here till tomorrow. And all right, guys, I love y'all. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Safe. Bye.
Good night. Bye.